Hello classic bike enthusiasts. Today I'm going to talk to you about this very special Bonneville you can see here. It's a 1970 Triumph T120RT 750cc Bonneville. Now those of you who know Bonnevilles, you'll say, no, they should be a 650cc. Well, I'll explain in a minute. First, a brief history of the Bonneville, for those of you who don't know. I'm sure all of you do. But the Bonneville was created from the Tiger 110 from the 1950s, which was the 650cc sports bike Triumph produced, with a single carb head. Then after some successes at Bonneville Salt Flats, they decided to make a model called a Bonneville, and they stuck a delta head on it and twin carbs. So basically it was a Tiger 110 with twin carbs. But then they decided after that it wasn't a great success, although quite valuable to collect now. They would redesign it. They built a new duplex frame, fitted twin monoblock carbs, and a lot of extra cosmetic changes, including a chrome front headlamp, etc. And that became the T120R for export, or T120 for home market use, and a 650cc, and a fine bike it is, and was, and is very collectible. So they naturally went on till they got to 1963, decided to go like this one, unit construction, still 650, changed the frame, which was similar to this frame, although this 1970 model had unique features to it. And then they came along and in 1971 decided to change it altogether, and as far as I'm concerned, didn't ruin it, but you know, it was a better bike as you see it now, because it was an oiling frame, unit construction, built for looks for the US market and not so popular. Anyway, I'm going back to this. The RT, the T120RT, this particular bike is one of only 202 or so that when they arrived in the United States, because it was an export model, that the importers changed the top end to 750cc. And then all they did was stamped a T on the back of the T120R to donate, to show you that it had been converted to this model. And the reason for this, they needed to homologate the race bikes, so they needed to produce at least 200 750cc Bonnevilles so it could be used in the AMA series of races out there. So this Bonneville T120RT is one of those 202 built, and they were sent to dealers around the country who were chosen by the importers, who I think sold them to people who wanted a little bit of extra power and something a little bit different. This particular bike, as I said, they all went to the States, came back from the States a few years ago, and was obviously renovated and restored. As you can see, it's in lovely condition. I'll go around the bike in a second. And you may say, well, anybody could stick a 750cc top end on this bike, and they could, you know, sell it as an RT. Well, fortunately, the AMA Museum actually found the records for all the bikes, so they know the frame and engine numbers, and they're random because they were picked randomly off of the bikes that came into the warehouse to be done, and they got the records. So this bike has a letter from the AMA Museum stating that those numbers relate to a T120RT. So a very rare motorcycle, as I said, only 202 built. So this bike has been brought back to life and is in beautiful condition, and a very rare motorcycle. So it'd be one for, well, if you're like me, you just ride them. It doesn't matter how rare they are, they're meant to be ridden. Or it's a great one for a collection or as an investment. But you know, me personally, I just rather ride it. Now I'll go around the bike. As you see, it's no different to actually to actually, you know, it looks from the outside a standard 1970 Bonneville. But let's just have a look here. It has got a barrel which is called a Rout barrel, made by a company called Rout. So that is a Rout barrel, and it's got markings on the front, in the castings. I don't know if you can see it. There it is, just under that nut there, and that shows that it is the correct barrel for this bike. As I said, they had a T stamped on the after the T120R to make it a T120RT. But as you can see, this bike is absolutely beautiful. It's in beautiful condition, beautifully restored, and anybody who fancy buying it, well, just get in contact and we'll talk money. Okay, there you go. There's a twin leaned in front brake on it, which are very strong. Beautiful styling. The export tank, which I always think looks lovely on them. I'll show you the clocks. There you go. Standard clocks. Headlamp with amp meter in it. Okay. Beautiful Bonneville. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that little history and chat. I hope you like the bike, and just get in touch. Tell me what you think. I'm not very good at doing these video things. I'm an old bugger, but hey, I've given it a go. Bye bye for now.